What do you sell here at the market?
I would, rather not say.
Yeah! Whoops. Uh-oh.
I can call anyone, past, present, or future. Who do you miss?
Creepy smile.
Yiboy,
E-boy. E-boy.
Capital King and Hall.
Yum.
These are my children. And yes, they are delicious, and right now they're 2 for 1.
Yum.
Only the wicked may enter. The pure of heart will be devoured.
Look, you can see your reflection.
What are you selling here?
Danola.
The most valuable commodity there is. Time.
I made this myself. Don't worry, I used gloves.
I can transport you to anywhere in the world. Except your ex's house, of course.
Look at how many steps he had to take.
Warning, warning. Archer's Garage Live is not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Oh, here we go. Let me figure out how to come in there and say hey to everybody. What are you guys doing? There he goes. Who thinks of all of this stuff? I don't know. It's AI. It thinks of it. AI is demented. They say it doesn't get stuff wrong. It hallucinates. It's freaking probably evil, some demonic bullshit. But it is kind of cool, right? Actually pretty crazy cool, I think. As long as it doesn't get too far off the deep end. But, I don't know, it's really bizarre. Which is appropriate for me. See what you guys are up to. So, yeah, Henry. Let me take this off. Why am I yelling? Stop yelling, Arch. So I thought the bottle, that gas bottle, I said it was most likely nitrogen. It was. It was yellow. It was all the way in the back of my shed. So I had the shed so packed. So I had a chance this week to do a whole bunch of things, which I'll show you guys what I'm up to. But I had to dig out everything that was packed in the shed. Pull it all out, and of course the bottle was hidden all the way in the back. I don't know, orange, yellow. I don't remember. I was probably thinking of something else. I don't know, but it was yellow. And they gave me a really good price. I went down to the welding store, welding supply, air weld. And what did I get? They gave me credit for the bottle. I got the bottle filled with pure argon. I got a can O. Where is it? Fresh can. Oh, you're not ready. No, I'm never ready. That's because I was out front. I'll tell you why in a minute. I got a nice fresh can O map of gas for heating pleasure. Right? I have a can, but I'm like, while I'm there, let me pick up can O map. Let me put this away so I don't knock it around. You know, because I actually need a new torch. I got one of those turbo torches, but I can't leave the torch on the container because it leaks. I don't know why it leaks. I should probably go through it or just get another one. But as long as I take it off right away, it's fine. So it's just nice to have map. I think I even have a can of propane. I also got a set of nice Tillman gloves, TIG gloves. So I use them for MiG too. I had my last set for a long time. In fact, I just washed them, and they're no good for welding. I was trying out some plasma, which we'll check out later. I was trying out plasma arc today. I had to cut off some stuff, and I'll show you what I'm up to in the garage in a little bit. It went right through those gloves. They're just too old. I probably wouldn't go through these, but the other ones are just too old, so I'm just going to use them for moving stock around and I don't know, whatever else. That doesn't require any real safety. And so I got the bottle filled, fresh, brand new Argon for $116 and change with tax. That's not bad. Okay, that is not bad. That was affordable. But then I bought all this other stuff too. I got my Argon regulator right here. So that's all ready to go on. I think tomorrow I'm going to try. I want to try out the TIG function, so I want to hook this up, and I got to weld that muffler, and tomorrow is the big flea off, because the cats all have fleas, and now I've got fleas, and they're out here. So I think the kittens are old enough now. We got a whole bunch of flea bath and flea wash, and I think we're going to get some actual flea collars, and we're just not going to leave them on them for too long, because kittens are very sensitive. So I'm a little late because I was out front, because the father of all of these cats has befriended my daughter once again, right? And the ex is like freaking out because she's, oh God, shit, F, right, crap, because he's beautiful, right? He's very friendly. He's a big black cat. So we have two black boys, young black boys, and the one female is, well, one's not all black. The female is this all kinds of stripy, different gray and white and all kinds of colors. She's really pretty. And of course, Marley, right, which is Mama. So Mama got the fleas because we brought her to the vet to get fixed, and she came back with a cone on her head and fleas. So, like I said, I think the kittens are old enough now. It doesn't matter, because now the fleas are everywhere, or they're going to be everywhere, and I'm sick of it. Like, look, I was wearing these last night, and like for the past few nights I've been wearing, look, there's one right there, right? There's one right there. So, of course, they're down by my ankles because I was just in the house, and they rub up against you because as soon as you disappear for a little while, they miss you. I think this is another one. No, that's not one. So there was one, and they're going to be in my room if they're not already. And the young female, she snuck into my room, was on my pillow because she was looking for me. And you know, they don't go upstairs that much anymore. I think that was like one of the last times. But you know, at this point now, I'm like, we got to wash everything. We got to bathe them. We got to put collars. We got to put stuff down. Like now, I went through this with Apollo, God rest his soul. You know, and he had him so bad, we couldn't even like let him in the house. We finally got rid of them. It wasn't easy. Once that starts to happen, it's a nightmare. It's just an absolute nightmare. And I'm sure they're on this black shirt, but you can't tell. Yeah, I think that might have been one. Every now and then you're like, it's up your nose or in your ear or something. It's bad. And it's been hot out, as everybody knows. It's been hot and humid. So when you have weather like that, that's it. That's infestation weather. And there's just no way to control it. Fortunately, we don't have any real rugs or anything. Everything is all wood floors down on the first floor. So you could mop and clean, and we've had stuff to do that. So tomorrow is like everything's got to go, right? Everything's got to be washed. Everything's got to be gone through. It's going to be like one of those days. So the father, I think it was the father, I noticed there are 2 big black cats. They were in my yard last weekend. And they were I went to go walk into the house, and I'm like, oh, hey, guys, right? Wow, they look so similar. Kind of like the 2 brothers that are in the house. So they're getting about this big now. They're almost as big as their mama, but their mama is small. See, now I feel like I got bugs all over me. Animals, right? It's like having a zoo, you know? So we decided to keep them all because you can't break up the family. I'm like, oh, look, the father has returned. The family is complete. They're like, good, you can leave it out in the shop. You can have your shop cat now. All right, well, we'll see. Maybe I can work that out. Right? Maybe I can do that. You know. Oh, it is Bravo. Hey, Bravo. Let's see. Ken says, AI, Arch's intelligence. Yeah. A lack thereof. Bravo goes, hey, Arch, evening, gents. You still got fleas? Yeah, I was just saying, we're all fleed up. So tomorrow's the big, flea zone, no flea zone day. Ugh, not looking forward to that. I got to go to bed a little bit earlier. And I want to see if I can weld that muffler. So I'll show you guys what I'm up to. But, any more on me anywhere? They would be down by my ankles. I generally don't get bit by them. I don't see anything else. Although I was petting Marley earlier, and I had a whole bunch of, felt like bites right here, and it was really itchy. I don't know. I generally don't get bit by things like that, but I don't know. I don't care. He goes, tap the thumbs up. Oh, I can thumb up. Can I thumb? I don't have the thumb button here yet. I can thumb it later. I can hit, you can give yourself a thumbs up. So once I found that out, I'm going back through everything. I'm going to click the thumbs up button. Just because I can. Right? And if you hit it twice, it goes off. Right? You get the unlike button. So you could just play a game back and forth. I thought that was a good intro, though. I was going to cut it and fool around with it and clean it up a little bit, but I didn't have time. Didn't have time for that. Too busy playing with a big, gigantic black cat. Cats. It's just crazy. I can't believe I have all these cats. Not 1, 4. So anyway, moving forward. So yeah, I just got done. I was out. I heard some of the Ken show, but I was in the garage. And I got to finish up this project, couple of projects. They just have to get done. And let me just show you what I was doing to this vise. Let me give you a little vise, right? Advice. Look at this vise. I got this vise. I don't know when, fellas. It must have been. I want to say, anybody remember U.S. General? This is like. Actually, I think it was before Harbor Freight. And it's got to be Chinese or Japanese. It may even have been Japanese, but it could have been early Chinese, U.S. General. I think that grinder down there is a Buffalo pneumatic or something or whatever. That came from U.S. General. That grinder is going to go out in the other room soon. It has the heavier stones on it, but it just sits there in case I need the heavier stones. But I'll have it out in the garage in a bit. But I'm just going to race through this. It's actually a cool vise, but as is typical of anything that is budget, right? It's not finished well. And, when I got it, I didn't care. I needed it. I bolted to a table. I think it came over on the Mayflower. It might have come over with me before I moved here. I might have even gotten it. I may have even gotten it before I moved here. It could be 25 years old. I don't know. It's ancient by the standards, but it's a nice vise because it's got all these, turny, twistable, features. Let's see. Ken says, Tractor Supply sold U.S. General before HF. Really? That's what I'm thinking. See, we didn't have my old area. We didn't have Tractor Supply in Nassau County, in Nausea County. We didn't have that. Out here they were, but where I used to live, I think there's one out this way. So yeah, I got the beanie. Here's the beanie, welding beanie. I asked him. I said, "Where's your beanies?" And he goes, "Well, why don't you just take this one?" But this is more of a nylon beanie, and I wanted another cotton one. So I got this one. Hold on. I got this one, the Cheapzoid, cheap one, which these are cotton. And then I wanted another one similar to this, which needs to be cleaned. Well, this isn't really, I mean, this is like beanie slash hat slash painter's cap slash welder's cap hat slash, you know. But it has a band around it. So that can be uncomfortable if you put your helmet band on tight. Turns out, by the way, that plasma cutter on full output. Hold on, I feel like I got itches everywhere. You know, now I just feel itchy. So this doesn't really have any kind of band on it. It's like really for under the helmet, but it's nylon, fellas. You know, you feel it. It feels like canvasy. You know, I'm sure it's fine. Like I was wearing it today, but you know, cotton is nice. Like this thing, but this thing's shot and it's red. It's weird. You know, but it was cheap years ago. Let's see. Let's just take a quick look at this. Yeah, you want something underneath there. Catch the sweat and keep your helmet on proper. I need a new helmet too. Yeah, I'm just gonna cruise past it. Let me see. This one might work. Let me cue it up. Yeah, hold on. You can see why. Yeah, it's like things are not aligned right. It's like the overall quality isn't there. Let me back up one. Do I show it? I started taking it apart. These screws or bolts, I guess they cut them, but you know, they're all burred. Let me back up. This is it on the table. It's one of these vices. There's like schlam all on top. I hit these with the, the wire wheel, but they're still, that won't sit flush. Yeah, there's like, I'm gonna run them on my sander. There's like Bondo on this. Seriously. And this is after I cleaned it. I actually had to super clean it because it was really, really dirty. That was not even drilled straight. Yeah, that's not drilled straight. They don't sit right. This is for the pipe side of the vise. They're at different heights. Not aligned right. I think, well, let's take them out. Let's clean them up. It's just kind of... Of course, they're worn. Yeah, it's coming out good. What's just the one? I just did this one. So I figured I'll clean everything up, make it, you know, try to make it a little bit better. Yeah, this will do it. See, this vise that I'm working on right here, this thing's huge. This thing is so heavy, I don't even know if I could lift it off of this table if I ever wanted to move it at this point. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit cleaner. Got some issues in there. Here, let me turn a little light on. But we'll clean this up after we get it mounted, and we'll take these jaws. But it's a nice design. Mounted. Oh, it's getting clean. It's getting ready to go back together. Let's start cleaning off this surface, but there's a lot of burrs there. Yeah, there's burrs everywhere. Just unfinished rough cast in there. Yeah, there was still sand and like unfinished cast. Like they didn't finish this thing. I think that's why they smeared Bondo on it. I'll get that a little clean. I'm just spending a little time with both of them. Everything had burrs. The other one had a burr on it, it kicked up, and if you caught that with your finger, you would have not been happy. So this one's all cleaned up and ready to go. Getting the grease. Getting the grease. Everything's all sweet. Going back together. All right, this is nice. It's a beefy vise. What the stack looks like inside. I got some chain lube in there. some chain wax. This is all nice. All right, Bailey wants to move with all that grease. Try to get some in there. We'll get more. Here we go, going down. Getting the screws in, getting the bolts in. Yeah, that looks much better. And it's starting to work properly now. It was so filthy. And like I said, there were burrs and unfinished edges, and they didn't care. They did not care. There we go. I'm using some of this rail oil I got from Big Mike. It's for elevator shafts and stuff. And you kind of like wipe it on, and it goes into the pores. Nice. I'm going to take these off, but there we go. It's almost done. A little bit there. But it's a nice big vise. I like the way it rotates. That's what she said. That's what he said. Look at that. All right, yeah, next. We'll have to work with it. Next. Yeah, now she's getting clean. These screws or bolts, I guess they cut them. Yeah, and these don't align. You can see why it's all messed up. See the different lengths? How's that supposed to work? This one I can center it, but we'll have to take some more for that. That's not for today, but we'll get to that. Let me put the other jaw on here, which is a kind of a different jaw for, I guess, holding an odd part at the end. And I got that one for there. Let me oil it up and then we'll mount it. And the screw doesn't it bottoms out. It doesn't tighten. Okay. It's cranky in there. We'll clean that up now. It's just cast. It's not even machined. Get too close, will it? Is it focusing? I think so. I don't know. I can't tell. These are nasty. We'll get these cleaned up. All right. Let's see. This is done. Yeah, I guess it's done. Yeah, here we go. All right, well, this screw is bottoming out, but these are okay. So we'll have to come back to this section. That's when
and make it correct.
Take the sort of this Acme screw out, and we'll pull this apart and get all
the Bondo
and gook out.
That's Bondo. Right there, that schmung right there. Let's see, that right here. That's Bondo. And it was Bondo on the front. The lighting changed, but yeah, you can see it right there. That's Bondo. It's on there good too.
I've got a nice vise because I'm about ready to put it into operation, so we can rotate it. It's lubricated. It's mounted nice. If I want, I may even mount it on this other platform work table that I'm looking to kind of put together over time. And it's not sitting over there on the other bench where it's not being used. And I like that, you can rotate this, and we just got to get this working good, because it is nice to be able to clamp pipes and such in. But yeah, this is going to work fine for me. All right.
I think it was the day before. Where am I? Am I here? Yeah, it was pretty nasty when I pulled it off. It had been sitting in a weird spot.
All right.
Because I moved the shop around.
I got it off. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. A little super clean.
It's
give it
black.
A quick wash.
It's almost black.
A quick rinse off. I'll throw some lube on it. And especially like in here. Like these guys will lock if you're not careful. We'll throw some lube on that. Get it together.
Let's back up here real quick. Here we go.
All right. There's a lot there. And I had set up a while back. This is from the lift table. And I had set this up. I actually want to move it down a little bit too. course, that chair wasn't there at the time. It's Liz's chair, which is my chair, which is the same thing that it was at her place. Full of clothes. All right, that's not bad. And then I was fooling around with this. So let's start off with here. So the tools are up here. And of course, they don't have to stay there, and they can be moved around and clamped down for now. This we're going to set up with a metal cutting blade in a bit. The grinder's back there, so I got to clear this off a little bit. But before we do that, I want to mount a vise like over here or something. So we'll kind of clear this off in a little bit. Because it's getting late, this is kind of cool. It's a cutter, and I think it's a cutter as well, but it's a bead roller. I kind of dug this out. That's another one of the tools. Somebody actually tried to fix it, I think. Anyway, whatever. We could make some new bead rollers for that when we get the lathe going. So this is fabrication and banging, and I just kind of laid this on top, this piece of stainless door, and I kind of half clamped it over there. But we're going to take that off in a bit. I just wanted to see how it fit. And this probably will have shelves and brackets and adapters for mounting other tools. I cleaned this off last night. It's nice. It's all lubed and tightened up. The bolts were loose and one was missing. So that's good to go, right? We got that set up on there. It looks kind of neat. But, and I also want to be able to hang some cables and some other things from the side and grinders and whatever else we'll put on here. But we need to mount the bottles. All right, so let me move some of this stuff out of the way. We got to get bottles mounted. So I dug out some steel, plus I have more in other places, which is outside and hanging around. I was using this. This top comes off, but it's almost impossible to get what's in here, get at what's in here, when this big heavy welder is laying on top. And this welder is very heavy. It's an old school transformer style. So although it's kind of portable, it really isn't. It's so heavy. Whereas this one is light. This black one is nice. It's light. You can grab and go. That's kind of neat. And I had mounted some lawnmower wheels or whatever on a piece of angle steel, and I made that thing to hold the bottle. So essentially we need something like that back here, and weld it on, and a brace and a chain or two. And so let me see what I come up with. But first I just want to clean up in here a little bit, and I want to see of these tops. These are big NEMA doors, and they're pretty heavy gauge. I'll check them, but they're pretty heavy gauge. I want to see how they lay on the top of this thing, because I might want some different tops. I'm not sure, but we do need a top for that, because otherwise it's just a frame. So I got a couple of things to do first.
Yeah, I'm coming back. So let's see. Let's see. Mitch is here. Hey, Mitch. He goes, "Hello, Arch. I like your bracket for the cables." Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, that's. I think that's the last video I made, that bracket or brace or truss, whatever you want to call it. Girdle, you know, it's got, you could name it a lot of things. And I think that did work out really well. And I showed him how to replace that cable that I was showing that was broken. And so he goes to look up, he brings everything here, and he goes to look up how to do it. And the first video he comes up, it was mine, but it wasn't on that cable. So I was like, turn that off. I'm like, I'll show you what to do, or I'll make you do it. But he really didn't know how to install that cable. He didn't understand the different ends and how it went. But I got it on, right? And then there was another time with another machine, I think it was at one of the Time Masters. He tried putting a new cable on, and he didn't know how to connect it. And it wouldn't actuate the blade. So, you know, because it pulls on the blade tensioner. It controls it. So I finished the installation for him. I guess he just doesn't really know. He tries, but he doesn't really know. And, you know, sometimes videos aren't enough or whatever. You need to have some experience. So we got all that on, and I think that's the last video for that Cub Cadet. So it goes in the folder, and
You know, there are people that have actually been watching it. You know, for me, it takes like a year before any of my videos get any real traction. But that should, I don't even remember when I did that video, honestly. I think it might have been the beginning of the year. Yeah, it might have been pretty early. I mean, I didn't look at the file to see, because the files would tell me. I'm about ready to get rid of most of the files and put it in my folder that gets backed up for completed projects for the year. And it kind of lives in there, and it gets a backup, and that's it. And if I need access to it, I know where all that stuff is, and that's why I use a lot of it for like B-roll and stuff. But that's done. That closes out that project, because I'm like 2 years behind. Like I just cannot get any time in to really finish. It just takes me forever to do videos, and at the end of the day, when I'm doing stuff like right now, I'm tired. Like my eyes are shot. And by the way, the other thing I noticed, I got these glasses. Hold on. Where are they? I'm coming. So I need a good welding helmet, fellas. I really do. My eyes are, since like the diabetes and everything, it's way too sensitive. So I don't know what brand this is. A friend of mine gave this to me, a DIN 9-13 Chicago Electric. Crap. The auto darkening and everything. It's just for the welding that I do at the currents that I'm usually at. Like if you're going lower current, it's not that bright. But I come out of there. It's like being, like when you come out, you can't see anything. It's like you're staring in the sun. I'm like, this is no good. All right. So I use these glasses underneath it, and these are welding glasses. I forget what tint ratio they are, but you could use these for brazing and things like that. So I wear these underneath it, and I clean this up, which I didn't get a chance to try today. This is really filthy. Why is it not closing? Yeah, hold on. And you can get, whatever shade you want. Remember these old school ones? These people still use these because they're really good. And you can get whatever shade you want. They're not auto darkening, but you have the flip up. And so I think I'm going to go back to this, because I was looking at prices for like real welding helmets. There's just no way I can afford that anytime soon. That's just not going to happen. And I'm not killing my eyes. So if I'm not exhausted tomorrow after defleeing everything, and I don't want to stay up too late, then I'm going to try out my old helmet again. And I was using like the old shitty pair of these. I didn't try these out yet today. I'll try them out tomorrow when I go to TIG. I had to bring out my big welding gloves, stick welding gloves, to cut this material off of that frame, which I'll show you in a minute. I had to, because it was getting through the glove. Like, it's hot. It's plasma arc, but I cranked it up to 50 amps. That welder does 50 amp cut on 220. So I don't know if I showed this. I spent some time last week. Where's my thing here? You might see it. Let me see if I can see it. I'll cue it up first. So I made because I've been upgrading my electric, and I wanted like a nice, patch bay drop, whatever you want to call the damn thing. Let's see. Do I have it here? I don't even know where it is. It should be somewhere. Let me just see. I don't think that's it. Yeah, that's some of it.
All right. Before cardboard out of the way.
Yeah, there
flickering
it is.
light behind
It's hanging
me.
up.
I want to start appropriate. Flickering dead light needs to be.
Hold on. I have to find it. That's not it. Is that it? I think this is it here. So I made this thing. 50-foot cable. All right, breaker's on, so it passes the smoke test at least. Let's see what Wiggy says. So Wiggy vibrates and lights up. And you got your scales, AC and DC. You can't see it. And then I wasn't looking to. On. I'll read it out, but we're going to look for 240 and 120. That's a Wiggy. And you're probably not going to see it. Should I hold it up on something? No, it's not going to work. The hell with it. Let's see if we can. You might be able to see that. But you can feel it. So there's your 240 there. So that's basically what I made. And I got to make a cover for it. So I was out in the yard. You know, I set it up over here. I cleaned up this. I started cleaning up this section of the garage. I set it up over there, and that's a drop. It's a 50-foot drop. I was out in the yard, and I'm like, I have all this cable. All right, so you see the blue tip, and then the other one is black. So I only have a 25-foot tape. I probably have a longer one, but, you know, it is what it is. That's 25 and another 25. That's 50. Disregard this wire. This is the 3-wire. So we're dealing with the 4-wire with the red. So, you know, I wrapped one end, you know, sort of around the building and spooled off a little extra on both sides. And I was like, okay, let's just make sure what we got. So again, blue tape. Yes, Timeless, kind of I do. And it's not author, it's arch. So I'm going to give it a cut about here. And then all of that, which goes back up there, that's the black end. That's what we're going to use in the shop. That should be enough to kind of get around the whole building. Except if I wanted to weld on a vehicle over there or back there. Yeah. Plus, I have the 3-wire, which is this run. And I'll explain later. So this is going to give us the ground. It goes down in the basement. That metal. It's well over 100 feet. This, you could just use this as extension line, extension cable. Because of the way these things are wired. They're not really grounded. Well, that's not really what I wanted to say. Let me cut this up. Anyway, let me put some of this away. Yeah, put it away, because I got to get cleaned up. What else? There's Mikey's. Oh, look, here's the cat. This is the cat. That was at my door a little while ago. There he is. So, yeah, because that's what made, I think that's what made my cats. This little guy. He's actually not a little guy. It's my ex bending over trying to get his attention. All right, I'm coming back. Yeah, I tied everything in here. I got to show you Mike's shit, but I'm going to do that as a separate video. So this is my one. I have 2 panels. All right, so now it's off. That's my 220 panel. If we can, yeah. All right, she's out. All right, we're going to let that hang for a little bit. Now you can see these drops, this drop here. Yeah, shot. I gotta switch breakers anyway because I only have, this is a 30 amp and that's a 15. So we're going to go with the 30 amp on this new drop. And you can see there. Yeah, it's shot. Coming out to a pigtail. Now, let's go outside real quick. All right, I'm coming back. Let's see what you guys are doing. I'm going slow tonight because I'm tired. Let's see. Bravo goes. He goes, I bought a Yes Welder auto helmet off Scamazon. Auto helmet off Scamazon. It actually works well. I think it was about $80, so not bad at all. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm just afraid. Well, yes, the Yes stuff is pretty good. People seem to like it. Timeless says, Arthur, do you have photographic memory too? So yeah, it's Arch. And I kind of do, it's a combination of photographic and videographic. I can't, well, one of the things I'll do is I will look at everything that I need to look at. And then I'll try to work it out, you know, while I'm standing in front of it. And if I need more time, I will go somewhere or sit down or whatever, and I will look at it in my head and play it back. And then I file it into the back of my head, where your subconscious is, and I leave it there, and it fixes it back there. It works on it back there. I used to freak out people at Abco Refrigeration because we had an engineer that wasn't that good. You know, the guy that I later on teamed up with was my partner, Anthony. He had left, and the other fellow that was there was not that good. So I had to make all of his engineering work. And sometimes it was kind of problematic because he wasn't always straightforward and he made a lot of mistakes. That's understandable. So I had to fix it. So I would work on these control systems and I would get them to a point and I would be like, all right, I need to walk away. And I'd go into the break room and make coffee, speaking of. And at first, nobody believed me, but then after a while, people freaked out. I'd make coffee, and I'd be having a sip of coffee and talking about whatever was in the break room, and then I'd go, up, I figured it out. They're like, what do you mean you figured it out? Because they knew this guy was not that great of an engineer, and they knew what I was doing to some degree. I'm like, I gotta go in the back. I know what the problem is, and I know how to fix it now. And they're like, what do you mean? You were just having this long conversation with us. How did you all of a sudden? I'm like, you just have to put it into the back portion of your brain, your subconscious, and let that work, and then you use the front of your brain to carry on conversations and make coffee and hang out and take a dump, go to the bathroom, whatever. So that's like what I'll do is I'll just grab all the information I can. If I work myself into where I can't figure it out up here, I just walk away and I leave it and I replay it. Sometimes I go to bed and I think of it like that. What is it? Let's see. Timeless goes, mine focused mainly on music. Yes, I do that too. So I used to, but I'm retired now from music, so I don't do that anymore. Emotional support kitty, yeah. I have 4 of them. I like to go in the house constantly and just pester them. Oh, they pester me. They were so nuts the other day, I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was trying to make some breakfast, and they were making me nuts. The female jumping up and ripping the towels off the refrigerator and trying to get at things on the refrigerator. The other ones, I don't know, up on the counter or going in the refrigerator, chasing each other around. It's just, I don't know, sometimes it's just mayhem. They just and they show off. They want you to see what they're doing. They were driving me nuts, right? I'm like, I can't wait to get out of here. I just, you know. Let's see, he goes, you're interesting and everything like me too. He goes, I haven't talked in a while. OCD, bipolar, right? I have a little bit of the OCD, right? I think if you were to look at me, what they know today about the way people are, back in the day, it would be Asperger's. I would be closer to high functioning Asperger's. But Brett goes, oh, Brett just waltzed in. Brett waltzes in. He goes, Dilly. Timeless goes, might be interested in joining Illuminating Dreams. Yeah, cats are awesome. So a little bit at a time, I'm working on it, but I got to stop now because tomorrow is like the last. So hopefully I can squeeze in. I got to fix that muffler or get a new one. The muffler, a new stainless muffler it's an echo blower. It's a really big echo blower. I thought it was Red Max, but no, he was talking to me about a Red Max. Now that I remember, because it's been a while, it's been sitting here for a bit. He was talking to me about a Red Max, but it's an Echo because now it's in the shop because I buried it in the shed, and since I had to go in the shed anyway, I was like, well, I might as well go in and take out the next jobs. So I took care of that. Mike did drop off his Sunstar, so that's in the backyard. So I got to fix the muffler. It's about $120, $30 with shipping and tax. It's somewhere just under $150 for that stupid muffler, that stainless muffler. So I told him, I said, you can get a new one. If this doesn't work, it's practice for me. I'm not going to charge him, but we can get a muffler. He's not in an absolute rush. I showed him the other thing. Did I show you guys this? I don't think I actually showed you this. Do I have a picture of it? Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I have... Rather than go get it, because it's big. And I don't think I showed you guys this, though. I don't know if I put it... I fixed his hedge trimmer. Which, I got to make a video on. And I made a bracket out of aluminum. And I bent the aluminum around. and fixed it. And it's an expensive thing. I think that's an Echo as well. So I got that done. And I said, that's like pro bono. Because he found all that cool stuff that I showed you guys, a couple of weeks ago. And he went and got it. I'm like, I'll take care of you. He goes, well, I'll pay you for the muffler thing. I'm like, that's fair enough. I'm like, but everything else, I'll just do pro bono. Here it is. Here it is. I think it's just some pictures. But let's see. It's nice. I didn't want to see it, but it's getting old. So there's that metal bracket. It had broken. One of the screw bosses broke. And welding a small piece of aluminum like that, I can't do it. That's not going to happen. I'm not skilled like that in aluminum yet. So there's that bracket, which I'll show you. A little closer, I think. You can see it over here. It's on the right. It's bolted in, and it locks because it's articulating. You have a number of, any number of angles from, like right angle all the way down to straight. And, of course, it broke. There it is there. So I made a nice aluminum bracket. It wraps around. It can't go anywhere. And there's the head gasket I ordered for Mikey, and they crushed it. Look at this. You know how this got crushed? I'll tell you how this got crushed. How do you think this got crushed like this? You tell me. Any of you guys know how that would have gotten crushed? Because I think I know. Here, let me see if I can back up a little bit. If I can find it. No, there's the air conditioner. Oh, maybe it's under the OBS folder. Well, that's a different folder, so the hell with that. We'll come back to that later. And I want to show you a couple more things, but let me come back. Some of the stuff is in different folders, and I don't feel like looking for everything. But yeah, it's a nice little aluminum bracket. I just kind of wrapped it around and pulled it back under, and then clamped everything together through a bolt hole that was there, that held the bracket, that allowed it to articulate and tighten down, and it'll be fine. But he's already got a crack somewhere else on I don't know what you would call it, but where the cutters are, they ride in that track, and there's a sort of a crack starting there, and I'm like, it's not long for the world, but you can fix all of this stuff. My attitude is he went and gave me some cool stuff. We bartered. He didn't pay anything for it. It just had to hump a bunch of stuff into the back of his truck. He was there anyway. So I did the work, and he'll use it as long. I mean, they're so rough on their equipment. It could last another couple of years. It could last a day. I've seen that. I did that Bluebird for him. The lawn whacker Bluebird, right? The aerator dethatcher. I don't think they did more than one or two jobs with that, and it was completely broken. He brought it back. I made him take it back. I said, don't keep it here. I said, when you're ready. They must have gone over rocks and bricks and just ripped everything to shreds underneath. How do you stay in business with that? How do you... I can't do stuff like that. I can't have people work for me and break stuff like that. I would be that dick of a boss that would be yelling all the time. I would go from the guy that's pretty even-keeled, not a big temper, to just being the asshole that yells at everybody, because they would probably deserve it. You're fired. No soup for you. Go home. Right? I'm deducting it from your paycheck. Oh, God. Yeah. Let's see. Let me catch up with you guys. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's go to the split screen. Let me detach. Let's detach. Pop out chat. There we go. I have to come this way. I think it might be bright enough. I don't know. I had to really darken. I'll show you some footage of the plasma in a little bit. But I had to really darken the camera, and I don't know if I got the setting correct right now. It might be okay. It doesn't have to be good. Let's see. Dilly might be interesting. Joining Illuminating Dreams. Just woke up from a nap, Brett says. Brett was napping. Timer says, eat the best burgers tonight, Walmart meat. Yeah, I had a burger earlier. Yeah. I forget where it was from, though. But they were pretty good. Friends made them for me. Yeah, you got your friends making it for you. My garage is a disaster. That area well, it's now becoming part of the shop again because it was a disaster. So, yeah, totally. Mom had a stroke trying to get house in order. Yep. Gotcha. Bravo goes, that bracket was nice. I couldn't have done a better job fabricating on my milling machine. Right? I didn't do it on the mill. I just did it by hand, and I was careful with it, and it's a soft aluminum, but I'll make the video, but I said in the video, I said, we have to go very slow because you can work hard in it, and it'll crack. It'll break before we get to the shape we want. So that's more of what I did it in here. That's more of why I'm trying to build, some capabilities into that other room to do a bit more of the metal work and things like that over there. One, to keep the dust and the crap and the horror out of here. So I can just, do my builds and whatever in here. Not that I won't do metal or welding in here, but keep the mess. Like today, I was covered in filth. I showered. I didn't even change my shirt yet. Because, why? It's probably got fleas, right? So I'll change before I go to bed. But I was just covered in filth. But it was all in that room. So I came in here and just washed off and in and out of the house and doing my thing and taking a break. And it just felt nice. And then I kind of cleaned up a little bit in there. And then I made more of a mess with the plasma cutter. And then I walked away. And I'm like, I'm done now. I'll clean later. I can come in here and it's relatively neat. That's nice. This is Studio A and that's Studio B. Right? So that's how I'm going to set that. But yeah, I think it came nice. Echo, ask any pro. Yeah, well, it's and Echo stuff is, especially the older stuff, I don't mind fixing. I fixed a whole bunch of old Echo shit and probably wasted a lot more of my time doing it. I mean, I get paid usually, but probably not enough. But I like to fix the old Echo stuff. I think it's worthy. That's some of the stuff that I say is worthy of trying to bring back from the dead and keep it moving forward. Some of the older stuff, I think a lot of the older stuff is if you can find it in relatively good shape, it's totally worth it. I mean, if it's old and beat, it's old and beat, and you can't fix it. But that's like anything. People can really ruin stuff. What that thing? Timeless says, been vaping nicotine and CBD small amounts. Boxes on head gasket. That's a possibility. Shitty shipping. Vertical to horizontal and everything in between. Yeah, that D. Thatcher. Thomas says, I'm gay but prefer to date women. Binary, they call me. Like Q or Borg. Yeah, Q or Borg. Please teach people as long as you can. So here's, and then Brett says the gray Echo stuff. Yeah, the gray Echo stuff. So here's what I think happened to that gasket. At first, I thought bad shipping, right? But no, it came in a box. That's how it came out of the box. Okay, I've seen them try to ship them in these packages, but no, it wasn't that. And then I thought, well, maybe some son of a bitch, right, grabbed it and did this, right, because they don't care, and they were like, F that guy, right, or it fell on the floor and got knocked, and that got me to thinking because I heard a statistic the other day because I try to keep up with what's going on in the world and in the business news and everything. And I think they said it was worldwide, but Amazon laid off 60,000 people. And what did they replace them with? A combination of the AI and these new robots, which have these hands that basically these tongs or whatever that grip stuff and probably went to go grab it and is not calibrated properly, and it went like this and bent it. And it dropped it in a box, and it went down the line for who knows, human, whatever. That's the way we're going. So it doesn't. It probably, if it was one of these things, instead of picking it up like this, it grabbed it and went like that, and didn't know when to stop, and dropped it in the box, and on it went. That would be very possible. I would not be surprised if that's what happened. Because why would a person go like that and grab it and go F you? I mean, unless they're mad at somebody, whatever. It had to have come in this country. I don't think it was made here. To Sten's part, I don't think it was made here. I don't know. if it wasn't made here, would a Chinese person get mad and go, "Oh, stupid American," and go like that? Maybe, but I'm leaning more towards robot, especially after I heard that 60,000 people got laid off and humans got laid off and they were essentially replaced. That would be my guess. No, there you go. He goes, Brett goes, Monday it'll be another, to what year? So Brett's birthday's coming up. What another year older will you be? How many of them have you accumulated so far, Brett? Oh, it's a little cold in here. It's actually, the temperature's finally dropping. It's 71 outside, but I think it's cooler than that where I am. 58. Whoa, you're getting up there, bro. You're getting up there. It's still young. Under 60, right? I think soon I'll be, 62 in January? That's crazy. And this week, if you guys notice, this summer's almost over. This week, did we just do a live show last week? That was, a couple of days ago? That's what it feels like. Probably goes, yeah, my Amazon second-day orders are now taking a week or more. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Timers goes 46 now, July 10th. Youngin'. Let's see, what did this happen here? Hold on. Making a poll, do you believe the Pentagon? Blah, blah, blah. It's about alien contact. Somebody else commented on a video. They changed the way YouTubers see the comments on videos. We used to they stopped the whole email thing where you could go to your email and, it would come up on your email and you could just kind of click the link and respond from there and keep track of it. Now they want everything in the browser. So now I have to go to this page in my browser on my channel, and then it's all listed there, and then I have to answer them, and then I realize that you have to check them off after you've answered them and remove them, otherwise they'll just still be there. So I haven't done it because I haven't sat down to go through that yet. So I haven't answered a lot of people. I try to, but you have to have some way, because I have people that are commenting on videos I did 3, 4, 5 years ago. And they'll ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know. That was a long time ago. I'd have to watch the video and let you know. I don't know. Yeah, the life of a YouTuber. Right? It's interesting. So now I got to learn how to do that. I kind of was playing around with it a week or so ago. And I'm like, oh, I see. Yeah, they want everything through the browser because they track you, right, in the browser, because it's Google, so they track you. So they know what you're doing. And they claim that the email wasn't helping with the channels and it wasn't improving anything and whatever, what are you going to do? That's the game of YouTube. Timeless goes, look out for gay aliens. I don't think aliens even care. They might all be gay. Who knows? I think a lot of them don't even have genitalia. I wouldn't be surprised. That's what they say. The Greys don't have any genitals, whatever the Greys are. And I've heard that there are two different types of Greys. One that are kind of mean, and the others that are kind of helpful. I've also heard that they're biological robots. Conspiracy files. I don't know. The government keeps hinting. They have all of these so-called whistleblowers that keep coming out and testifying in Senate and Congress and whatever, talking about aliens and alien projects and all this other stuff. I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready to tell us something, because that's what the government does. Is it leaks stuff out a little bit at a time so it doesn't freak everybody out with a whole brand new revelation. I don't believe anything they say, honestly. Only to a point, right? Brett goes, I had a guy comment on my sidewalk pressure washing video telling people not to follow our examples because Billy was barefoot, right? I had a guy said recently, he goes, don't listen to this guy at all. He's probably a New Yorker, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Thomas goes, I think I'm both lizard and monkey, right? Well, we have a lizard brain back here, right? That's what they call it. They have a couple of different names for it. That area back there. Monkey brains, right? Brett, you didn't do that video again this year that I suggested you do. You know, the one where you lay everything out and go through it and show off your wares and lay it all out and show everybody and how it fits together and whatever. I still haven't done that. I thought that would be a good video. Show you pressure washer, the street cleaner thing and all the other stuff and just lay it out. You could probably do that in like 15, 20-minute video and make a nice roll-up, like a roll-up video. And then you link it to the other video that you're talking about. Right? You link it. You put the links in the description. You put maybe in a folder. You talk about the other one, or often what I do is I pull up the thumbnail from the old one and I go, like I just did on the video I just did. I pulled up a whole bunch of thumbnails for that Cub Cadet. I think that was in the intro. So, you know, it helps, you know, and it's continuity too, because if people are looking for something on that machine or machines or whatever, and because it's a visual medium, you know, I mean, nobody wants to sit and look at me, ugly mug, go on and on and on, talking about something they have no clue is what I'm saying. You know, oh, I got all these other videos. That's great, Arch. Well, how do we know that? Well, the links are in the description. Look, here's the thumbnails. And here's an excerpt as I'm babbling on. One guy said the other day, you talk too much. Yes, I know I do. That is a problem. But so does he, because he just said, you talk too much. You have any other advice? I heard something today about that. I heard on Ken's show, they were griping over. I didn't hear the beginning part of it. I just heard something about griping over people that comment on videos that aren't nice or whatever. And I could do it better, right? You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Get your own channel then. I have to tell you. You know, I don't say things like that to people on their channels, on videos and stuff. Then you go check out their if you know, because usually people, to comment, you have to have like a YouTube channel of some kind. You go back and you look, and it's like the only thing that they have on their channel is like Best of ABBA 1973. You know, a whole playlist, right? That's all they got. Let me show you the weld. But before, we'll do pee lady because I gotta pee. And what time is it? Let's see, an hour and 5 minutes. That's not bad. We can do an hour and a half tonight. I don't have to do it because past couple weeks I did like over 2 hours or something. I can't edit that. That's the other thing too. So, you know, like a lot of times I play stuff in the beginning or the pee lady, and I'll edit that stuff out. But if the video is like 2 hours, you know, a live show, I'll check back the next morning, and you go to the edit section of the video, and then you go to the area where the editor is. You click on that tab, and it's still processing. Now, once in a while, I might be able to do it that night if I'm up or the next morning. And that last video, because it was like a little over 2 hours, it's like a whole nother day went by, and I couldn't remove anything. You know, I couldn't edit anything out because it wasn't done. So I got busy and I just left it. You know, because a lot of people come and they watch, you know, these live shows later. And like, well, why not cut out all that intro fluff and, you know, the pee lady and all whatever else that if I feel like if they let me do it. But they just, I don't know if they're overloaded or whatever. Too much for it. It's too much for the editor. He goes, how long did it take? I don't think I edited it. It was just too long. Like, you can't do it. You know? You really can't. And I'm not going to weed through a 7-hour video to edit it. Like that, I'm not going to do. Right? I have to kind of do that sometimes with some of these bigger, like when I do these, I don't like doing multi-part videos, but if I have to, like Big Mike's tractor, right? That was several videos. So sitting through that and editing it and trying to parcel it out, that's why you're not seeing a lot of videos, because a lot of the stuff that I do is complicated and it's more than a day of recording. And there's a lot of little intricacies. And then, of course, I do try to shut the camera off in between sections that I'm working on, but you know, I can't, if I'm working, I can't be married to the camera. I got my hands in something like today, my hands were so filthy. Or if you're welding or doing something like that, you can't be married to the camera. And so that you have to figure out, well, you bring that footage into the editor and you have to kind of weed through it, which means you have to rewatch, you have to relive what you did. So if you spent an entire day, you know, 6 hours or whatever, you have to watch it as you're dropping it on the timeline. You have to kind of watch it. You can cut out a little bit in your first pass and you start stitching it together and you cut out what you can. And then you got to go back and start watching it continuously to see what else you can get rid of or to zoom in because, you know, it's called punching in, you know, when you kind of come in close digitally, or to stabilize, or to do something with the color because the color isn't right or it's too bright or whatever. And then the audio isn't right and you enhance the audio. So you enhance the audio track and you go through it again. And then maybe you need to do something to this clip over here. And then you need to put some kind of a seguer in or a transition. And so you might watch this 4 or 5 times in a row. That's several days of editing for one video. There's just no way I can put out a video every week, really. It's just too much. So some of those videos, when I shoot those, you might see them a year later. That's why I have a backup of like 2 years worth of videos. And I have even older videos that I'll probably just never do. No one will ever see those, you know, unless I get really bored and I start going through stuff. Because who has that kind of time? Right? I can't put that kind of time into it. You'd be up all night long. I would never go to bed. I'd be exhausted. And I have other things I want to do and other things I have to do. Let me see if I can get P Lady queued up. Just a quick break for, you know, quickie. Let's see, you know, Dan Snyder, Nickelodeon, bare feet. Why hide my feet? Robert goes, it's unreal how much time editing takes. Yeah, I know. It's a difference in good or not so good, vile or dead videos. That's true. That's why my channel's so small, because I haven't mastered all the little details. It is hard. Also, too, when you go to shoot a video, there are ways of setting up. Like some of the videos that I do enjoy doing, I do on the cheaper camera and on pieces of my other cell phone over here. And I shoot them in such a way as they're going to be easy videos. And I'll shoot them like that. But a lot of the projects that I do just aren't like that. It just isn't. And today, I'll show you when I come back, I'll show you a little bit of footage from 3 cameras to kind of set up for the plasma cut when I was testing it. And at the end, I did some testing with my better camera. My biggest concern was I used the cell phone first because it was splattering. And even though I tried, that garage is not all that big and I have things in the way, and I didn't want splatter to hit my good camera lens. That would suck. I cannot afford to replace that. So first I wanted to use the cell phone to see, just to get a quick look at what was going on. And it was a little too bright for it because it's bright in there. And that's a cheaper camera inside that cell phone and it can't handle all that light. There's really no way to adjust it properly other than go into the editor and do it. Then I showed some other stuff on my other camera, which is over there. And those are different shots. And then I felt confident enough to use this camera with this lens. So I had heard a conversation at Ken's, I think it was last week, and you guys were talking about James. And he uses a cell phone. And how does he get those close-up shots? Well, he sticks the phone up close. Well, ain't no way I'm sticking a camera anywhere near a welder. People that do that, they all complain because when that hot iron hits glass, okay, it shatters the lens, it destroys the lens, and it destroys the camera. But when you have glass like this, you can put the camera far away, and you just zoom in. Optically zoom, not digitally, but optically. So I was able to get the camera, I was confident enough to get, it's not this body, it's that body. but I was able to get the camera back far enough and then digitally zoom in. I was in pretty far. And also for welding, that does help. And then the last shot I did is I changed some settings because I didn't want to get too crazy with it. I could spend a lot more time getting the shots, but I changed some settings so that it was darker. And it's not that you see the weld, but you see what I'm doing better because it's so bright. So you can see the sparks in a different way. And it's not a weld, it's a plasma. I could actually show you the plasma arc with that camera, but that's a whole nother setup that I would have to set up for. Today was just quick. It was getting late. So let me go set up the lady, and we'll be right back, and I'll show you some of that footage. But yeah, I was running out of time to do that. I was also running out of energy, and I wanted to go eat, so I had to make some dinner. That's the pee break lady. Transition back. Let me come out of this. Poor lady. Make sure she's off. Yeah, she's off. I don't hear anything. Lady Princess of Urinalysis. There. Geeked on burgers. Sleep soon. It's making me see like a waterfall. Yeah, it is like a waterfall. Yeah, just don't pee while you're sleeping. Yeah, totally. All right, let me shut this off. I've seen. Come back this way. Close her. Correct that, and then set up for this. Restore the chat. Bring you there. And yeah, just real quick, I'll show you this. Yeah, this is a guy dropped off a neighbor guy. Neighbor guy. These are nice. I got to fix this for him this week. Next couple of days. Well, that's my sister's with the bad carb on it, which is a HIPAA It puked in, well, we'll talk about that, but it puked into the cylinder and locked it up. We got this, which I almost forgot. This is the Honda, and customer not far from here in my town, FG110 Honda. Not bad. It's just really just somebody got it from, it was given to him, but yeah, it's got some broken primer bulb and fuel line. I'm just going to clean it up and get it working for him. It should be okay. It is a 4-stroke, and he said that his stuff that he's been running, he's been using bottled gas, so that's good. Look, it looks nice, and I want to make sure we get in there and put lube in, whatever that is. So I got to go get the manual and find out what lube. A lot of times it's grease they want you to put in there, but if it is grease, then I'll just wet it with some something, I don't know, a heavyweight oil or something, because it's aluminum, so we don't want to put anything in there with sulfur. I don't know, I'll think of something. That's what I usually do. I usually use my diesel oil, my thick diesel oil. Alright, I gotta go do stuff. Alright. It's getting late. It's the end of the day. I'm gonna go grab a quick shower and I'll do a live. Alright, I'm trying to get it to be not so messy in here with all the work going on. Almost done, fellas. Almost done. It's a little dark in here, Arch. What's going on? What? It's not dark. Yeah. Stand by. Look, the twins. I didn't forget about that guy. But I got some big mic stuff to do very shortly. We'll get there. Not bad, not bad. All right, so let's see. Let me go to this little cell phone camera first. All right, and let's see. I forget which one's which because I didn't really even get a chance to check this out yet. I just offloaded the
so the
camera.
fan is still off. It just ran for a bit. I'm going to leave this camera on, and let's just see what happens. Let me glove up.
Let's see. Let's roll through it.
I need to take this off the end here.
Yeah, I could get that off.
Do that. I wanted to do that. Let me just shut it back off for a minute. Let's see. I don't think we're going to be able to get it.
I could not get that stupid thing off.
Let's see. I don't know how you expect to get this off. Spread it.
Oh, what a nightmare. It's like a
Holy crap,
little
fellas.
guide.
It's hard.
It on way too hard, too
I
tight.
took 2-player pliers to get this off. It's on too tight.
That's a
I
complaint.
had to use these, my gloves, my fingers. I kind of locked the handle in the vise a little bit.
I thought it was going to break.
Started.
It's a special conical thing. Now watch. Now you'll see
left, but we'll see.
how much it sprays. Now this is the first time I ever used it.
Yeah. All right. So it did pretty good. Didn't get through it. We have it on low. I just want to make sure we don't have anything on fire. Remove any rags out of the way.
I think I had on like
Open the
maybe
window, we'll
30 amps. And it started coming through my gloves.
Open the door too. Oh, went out.
I'm not close enough. I figured it out.
It keeps going out. Let's bring it up.
No, I'm just not close enough, and it doesn't have enough power. There it goes. All right. You'll see. When you get it right. It's loud. We turn it down a
Yeah,
little.
45 does it. 45 does it no problem. That's
Let's see. It's high frequency aux start.
I don't know why it goes out.
So you have to get used to that.
Yeah, it keeps going out. I don't know.
All right, let's get to the next one.
Let's try preheating it. Stand by. Get a little farther away.
No, you got to get close. Yeah, it cut it off. Now I'm going to gouge
A
it.
little bit. And probably.
Let's see.
But, boy.
All right.
A better camera?
All right, we're going to go to the better camera now. Let's see now. Where is it? 2025 archive. All right, so now I'm going to gouge it, and you can see the different shots of it. So let's see. There's the little nervule. A little different shot of the nervule. Now this is what we call, Sony calls it S&Q. It's like an on-the-camera fast motion. But there's no audio because it's too fast for the audio to sync. So I'm just kind of gouge and plow. Trim it down a little. Yeah, no problem. All right, you got to get it close. I made some adjustments. That did it nice and it did it quick. It's pretty thick. Now I changed the camera settings again.
All right, change the camera setting. I can't tell if it's focused, but it will try to focus. I've got the camera set much darker. So let's see what it does. And I lowered the air pressure a touch. I lowered the changed the camera setting. It was on S&Q. Now it's on regular footage. So you'll hear the sound. So we have about 15 on the post air and 45 on the amp, and I lowered the pressure to just be where it should be. And let's give it another shot. I also put my second pair of glasses on because it's very bright.
So let's give it a shot. I feel like it's really dark now. Like butter. Let that roll. All right, we'll be. So this is basically 3/8, or close to a quarter, or maybe 3/16 or something, but with the extra weld. And you could see it did have to grab some of that weld. It'd be nice if we get down a little tighter. I may want to try that. Or I don't think we need to. We just need to get it flush. So I might want to just go get the sander and just sand that down on the grinder real quick.
No, I plowed
This
it.
one we might be able to get a little closer. I'm going to try that.
No, I plowed it.
Yeah, the gouging worked great. Really no problem. I'm going to change the camera setting for this guy. We're just going to gouge a little bit because this really makes cleanup a snap.
Yeah. And then this is plowed.
Yeah, the gouge on that was terrific. There's very little cleanup, guys.
It was very little.
Very little cleanup. Now, when I let the tip run on pose for 15, what I did was, and the other thing too is you want to be careful. You don't want to burn the tip. You see you can clean that off. It comes right off. I touched it. I licked my finger and I put my finger on the tip. It didn't sizzle. It didn't seem hot. I'll check the book, but I'm thinking, you know, the cooler it runs, the better you're going to be. I know it doesn't waste air either. Is it cracking? No, it's just got weird spark traces. And then I walked away and let the machine run, leaving it on. Let the fan run. I don't know how long. Just made sure there was no fires in here or anything. But it ran for a while. I like the pressure better. 75, 70, that's fine. 45 amps did the gouge. 15-minute post air time. And
To let the
that's
tip
fine.
cool.
I'm just going to give that a quick clean. I might do it tomorrow, but yeah, I'd probably do it now.
Yeah, I did it. It
I'll
just
throw my gloves
comes
on.
right
This
off.
is
Whatever.
just
It's like
garbage
slag.
sitting on here. So there's really nothing to this. Give it a quick clean. I want to throw one of those tops on, the big gray one that's over there, just to see how it lays. And this is not the best ground over here. I just did it quick. I think also that's a thing too, but it has a nice grounding clamp. We just need to do something about that burr on it.
It's got a burr on it. Let's see. Did I show the top? Yeah, this is the top. Is this the top? Yeah.
So it's a pretty heavy piece. Fits on nice. And so what I might want to do, notice it's got this edge here, which is nice. And then it also has, if you can look at it, you see that reinforcement there? Right here in the substrate? I got my thumb on. So that's nice. That gives it some backing. However, we might want one side without that. So we might want one side completely remove all of this and be clean to the angle iron so that you have a nice edge, like an angle iron edge that you can bend things on. Even though this is nice, but you could clamp directly to, see this side, I like this because it's got the roll, right? It's this here, we got a right angle there, and it fits nice up against the angle iron. And we might want to leave like that one, if you can see it. But whichever side I decide, we might want to, especially since this has the hole, these holes in it, which is not a problem. I mean, they're useful. We'll put our own holes for clamps as we go. This is a powder coat, so it's very durable. I'm not sure, it'll probably melt. I guess eventually we'll have spots that will be bare metal. It is removable. I have removed it. It's what we're working with, and it's quite thick. I got to get my, let me find out what gauge it is. It's, let me come back. It's like, it's bigger than, what did I say? I forget now, hold on. It's not quite 1/8. It doesn't quite make it to, 14 gauge it doesn't go in. 1/8, it's a little too big. So it's bigger than, it's thicker than 14. All right, I'm coming back. All free stuff. Well, basically, right? The structure and all that. You know, it's nice working with, you know, materials, whatever they are, because if you were to buy materials like this, it would add up quick. So one of the nice things about having cutters and, you know, welders and glue sticks and whatever is you could make something from something. And that's essentially that other table that's there, the adjustable table. That entire table is made, and it's on my channel. It does well. It's made from garbage, you know, stuff people didn't want or whatever. And if you get enough of it, you know, in one spot at one time, you can design with it. And so that whole table goes up and down. I think it goes up about 36 inches, and it goes all the way down to about 6 inches or so to the floor. It can't go all the way because that whole scissor lift system is got a lot of structure to it. It has wheels on one side, so it can't go all the way to the floor. My other one doesn't either. Right, that goes down to about 6 inches or so. That's what that ramp is from. So if the ramp is not down on the floor, as you saw between the buildings, it's up on the table. Or sometimes if I really need it out of my way, it just gets shoved up against something. And I just deal with it like that. Let's see if you guys say anything. Let's see. Those sparkling Katy Perry's, Brett says, it's like an arc air nozzle. Yeah, it's a plasma arc with the air nozzle in the center. You know, I got to go unplug it too. It's still connected to my air compressor. I forgot to do that. It shouldn't be plugged in. But yeah, that's all it is. It's just, it's a nice arc. It's basically the same as flame cutting. Except with flame cutting, you're using bottled oxygen, which is expensive. You know, that's the real difference. So I've been flame cutting. I have my flame torch and my welding torch and my brazing torch, and I've got my, you know, the oxyacetylene along with, I've got the little mat, and I also have regular acetylene. So I use that to weld, to braze, to silver solder, to heat, whatever. So that's a lot of that stuff is going to live in the garage. And the idea of the garage is like in here, there's too many things that can get set on fire. I don't like welding in here. Like, you know, one of the things I'll do is even in here, even over there, like I went in the house, I was out here for a little while, I waited, but that room is mostly purged of flammables, not completely yet. I have my fire extinguishers, and Big Mike just gave me yet another one. Nice one. But in here, the rollies can roll underneath something, catch a dust bunny on fire or whatever. There's fabric in here, there's paper in here, there's whatever. You know, when I have to weld, I will weld. Yes, you can get welding blankets, or you can put up the shades and whatever and try to control the sparks and the ozone and the light and whatever. Because it will, if you're welding or doing stuff like that, that light will fade tools and toolboxes. Absolutely. Doesn't take long. But in that building, it'd be a lot easier with the cement floor and just keep it clean. And it's just much easier to do things like grinding and welding. The grinding sparks alone. And then between the two buildings, Mike gave me, like a 10-foot by something, 12-foot sheet of thick rubber that they use on roofs. And it's very heavy. Like I have it now wrapped up and corded with like handles. And it's still hard for me to move around. And he said, why don't you cut it into sections and make like a partition between the two buildings, and small enough, usually like on the garage door openings. So for a lot of the industrial stuff, they have slats. Rather than make a slat, just make like 3 or 4 foot sections that overlap and that you can hang up and take off or move over and pull back, etc., rather than that curtain that I have that's falling apart, which is plastic. That could catch on fire, but the rubber won't. It might smolder if a hot nubile got on it from something, but the grinding sparks and stuff like this was spraying all over. Like, I was able to contain it. It didn't hit anything. I could see where it was going. That's the idea, is to make it as safe as possible. It's dangerous. So I hung around here for a little while. Normally I would hang around here if I had to go in the house for some reason, whatever, or air the building out. About 20 minutes or so is what I would give it after I was done welding, and just police the area and make sure that nothing's on fire. I have set shit on fire. Oh yeah, I set a customer's snowblower on fire one time. I had to cut off the bolts that hold in the scraper. It was a mess. It was so beat up they wouldn't come apart. I had to cut them, and it caught some of it on fire, and I had to put the machine out and fix it. It damaged the plastic a little bit. I don't remember what caught it. Probably oil, right? Because it's the other problem too, is that people don't take care of it. And in the winter time, I don't pressure wash. I mean, I do when I can, but you can't pressure wash everything. And that's the other thing too, is that when people bring lawnmowers over and everything, I try to clean everything. I don't want anything in my shop that's full of infestations, watching animals crawl out and spiders everywhere. I did that one year. I started storing stuff in the garage, and by late spring, there were spider webs everywhere in that building, with big orb spiders hanging from them, because they crawl out of the handlebars and out of the machines, and they're in everything. I still have problems with spider webs and spiders and shit in here. I'm constantly chasing them out of here. And I try to keep it clean, but they come in from the big doors. The wind blows in the shop and the big doors in the back. The leaves and such come in. When they're migrating, they drop a line in the air and they fly through the air, and they wind up in here and crawl into the corners. And every now and then I put stuff down. My sister gives me some stuff. We'd had the spigots in here, which are the spider crickets. They're nasty. You could be sitting here at night with just like this lighting on, watching a YouTube thing, hanging out with my feet up. Next thing you know, boing, one of them jumps up on you, like, whoa, oh my God, what is this, right? They're nasty. So, you have to keep after it. So anything you can do to reduce that. I had a mouse in here. He was up over there fooling around with something one night. He ran across, came from down there or whatever. I'm like, bro, you got to go. Okay, I can't have you in here. But you know how they live in machines and stuff. And not to mention, too, that for a lot of those engines, that Brett even mentioned once, that shit will catch fire. And you can't cool an engine if it's loaded up with mouse nest and urine. So I charge a little bit more for that. I make people do it. Like I'll watch what the hell's his name? Tom, right? He'll bring stuff in and he'll clean it when he's done. I'm like, bro, why don't you clean it before you bring it in that beautiful shop you have? Why are you working on top of dirt? I won't work on dirt. I'm too old for that. Right? I'm done. Prima donna now, right? Now I'm a prima donna. When you work for somebody, like in a shop up the block, you don't have the luxury of getting rid of it. They brush the dirt aside. It falls back into the carburetor or into the intake, but you don't care, right? You only have a little bit of time to fix the thing. If you were to clean and do what I do, you'd be fired. So I don't want to be fired, and my customers have to now pay me more, and I clean everything, I make it nice because I said so. And either you cooperate with me or get out. Okay, I don't want you here. Right, get out. I have thrown customers out. Absolutely. So that's why I don't want to work for anybody, because I can't do what I do. They won't let me. They wouldn't even pay me enough. I'd be the best mechanic there and they'd fire me. Absolutely, 100%. They do that to my daughter too, because she's like this. And I said, well, guess what? Right, you're screwed. All right, you're going to have to suck it up And maybe one day, right, like her girlfriend is a little older now, she's trying to run her own business in town and she's just getting plastered. But she's really bright. She's got her own way. And I said, stick by her because she's already starting to meet. She was on Shark Tank, the girl up the block, right? And then she got pulled into one of those conventions with people with money that look to invest in people like her. Right? I said, these are the people that change the world and do things. Everybody else is a worker bee. And I had a guy tell me that years ago. They call them worker bees. And that's the way it is. You go get a job. You have to be a worker bee. You have to learn how to do that. But if you want to get away from that, you don't want to be constantly fired and told what to do all the time, right? You have to break out of that, and that costs. And she's paying a price for that. But hopefully, I think she's moving in the right direction, and she won't completely own the business, but she'll be an part owner, and she'll be able to do what she wants to do and do the things that she sees fit in the way she sees fit to some degree. She still will have to make money because that's part of it, right? You have to make money, you know. Oh, it's Demetrios. Who's Demetrios? Demetrios. Let's see. Demetrios says, he goes, Arch, can we talk about shear bolts? Oh, yeah. I acquired a 2000 Noma. Oh, weren't you on Ken's the other week? I think I saw you there. And had to replace the shear bolts. On the machine is brass. The head of the bolts have no markings. Replacement of 3 marks face. Well, and he says, can you discuss markings and grades? That I don't know. It really, I don't know that off the top of my head. Because I ordered the exact part number, and these are the same exact looking thing, but I have 3 lines on the face. Will these work? Probably. 3 lines means grade 5, which is a no-no. I don't know what 3 lines make. First of all, they don't rate them in grades like a bolt, because it's not a bolt, it's a shear pin. So if it has, I have a bunch of shear pins here. Most shear pins are made out of a soft steel. I think I said use a toilet fixture bolt. Yeah, because you're on Ken's. Yeah, because they're brass. You can use brass. You can use aluminum. It depends upon the size. Even some of the softer stainless steels can be used. It depends upon the size of the bolt, or I should say shear pin. It's not a bolt. There are bolts that are shear pins. They have a nut to hold them in place. It's like a captive nut. Some of them have a nylock or they're crimped on the end. But the pin part has got the serrations or the cuts or the grooves in them. And generally, almost any of them will work as long as it's a shear pin and it fits properly in the hole and you're not having to drive it into the hole, or it's not too loose. If it's too loose, and I have videos on this where I show this, it like within me working on the snow blowers. So if you want to go watch some of my snowblower videos where I'm actually driving out broken shear pins and I'm talking about replacing them and what I'm doing. If it's too loose, it'll break. It'll cut itself. And sometimes the outer shaft will wear. It will get oblonged and all wallered. Sometimes people put the wrong bolts in and things get damaged and it wallers that outer hole and it'll wobble back and forth and that'll break a shear pin on you. There's really no good way to fix that that's easy. You actually have to weld like a washer or something on top of it and tighten up that hole, because the auger is wearing. The auger shaft is wearing. Sometimes the inner shaft wears. I have a whole number of videos. You have to watch. See, because a lot of times what people want is they want a 5-minute video on just shear pins, and I don't generally do that. I probably should do some more stuff like that, but usually my information, my how-tos are within a 30 or 40-minute video on working on a machine. I go over the machine and I go through all the different parts and how to set up stuff, and I know a lot of times people don't want to watch all that. They just want that 5-minute thing, but I don't really do the 3-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute thing. That's not me. That's why I'm getting away from a lot of that how-to stuff, and I want to get more into like fabrication and everything. Ken's very good at the quick, quick fixes and, hey, don't forget to do this, and because he thinks of it. I'm engrossed in the machine and I'm working on it and I do long form. I'm not really good at the quickie fixes and stuff and the quick explanations. I'm terrible. My family, my sister said to me the other day, it was like a month ago, she was here. Twice she was here, like within like a month. It was like 2 months ago. She asked me, she goes, does pot damage your brain? She goes, I want a one-word answer. My ex-wife used to say to me, is it yes or no? I'm like, Veronica, it's not a yes or no answer. Well, just give me a yes or no answer. I'm like, I can't. These answers are not, they're complicated. You have to know certain things before you can understand. I don't want to know it then. My sister looked at me, she goes, it just has to be one word. And then she told me later on, like it was a couple of weeks later because she was here, she goes, I watched you squirm. She goes, in your brain, you so much wanted to explain to me the why it was yes or no. But you did actually stay to the parameter and you told me the answer. And the answer is yes. Pot like alcohol damages your brain. The simple answer is yes. It cuts off the blood flow. So if you smoke a lot of pot, you become stupid. And then you won't know that you're getting stupid because you damage your brain. So yeah, but there's a longer answer to it. But she's like, I watched you squirm and you had to recalculate and then you had to give me that answer because I gave you the parameter. So I gave her a short answer. Yeah. It's very funny. I'm not good at that. It's just the way my brain doesn't work like that. It's a skill. Doing a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video, that's probably where this, well, actually you need, on YouTube, you need 10 minutes. You need 10 minutes minimum because that's how the AdSense and the ads are set up. If you really don't make any money on shorts. You have to have millions of views. So if you actually want to be paid for your effort, which I think people should be, you have to do like a 10-minute video. That way you can have an ad in the beginning, maybe an ad at the end. You probably won't get an ad in the middle, but you'll have that ad in the beginning. And what YouTube has been doing now for the past couple of years is they'll, after you say goodbye, right, and, click like and subscribe, right, there'll be the ad at the end, and you'll get paid for it. That's fine. I don't care. 10-minute videos are good. I try, but I don't get to it most of the time. Yeah, toilet nuts. Brett goes, 3 lines or grade 5. 5 lines are grade 8. Why don't they make it the other way? Or grade 3 is softer. Yeah. It's kind of like that, yeah. But it's graded for softness. Don't think of it as like really the grade of a bolt. Think of it as like graded for softness. If it's a bigger machine with a lot of power, you don't want it too soft because then they'll be breaking all the time. And you never want to put just a bolt in, like a grade 5 or a grade 8 bolt, actual grade 8 bolt, because then you'll break your transmission. Oh, you don't want to do that. There's only brass, or they're like brass alloy gears in there. You don't want to do that. Yeah, that's a nightmare. You damage your auger and the whole thing. Well, usually around the holidays, most of the local stores start stocking. I mean, you can get them on Amazon anytime you want, but, hardware stores and stuff. Don't ask anybody that because they're not going to know. You just take out one of the good ones and match it up to something and then replace it like that. And it doesn't have to be identical. Like some of them they have the bail clip that comes around. I've seen them set up different ways over the years. All right, what time is it? Let me see where we are. I have to find my thing here. An hour and 48 minutes. That's not bad, fellas. Let's get out of here. Let's go do our thing for the rest of the night. Enjoy the weekend. The weather is going to change. Summer's almost over. This is horrible. I love the summer. It's getting cooler out. It's now 70 degrees according to the temperature on my computer here. And, we got the holidays and, the end of summer. The kids go back to school. I don't have kids, but not in school. But I'm going to go pester the cats, and thanks for stopping in, hanging out with old Uncle Arch for a little while. And just like last week went by so fast, before you know it, it'll be like Saturday night, and maybe I'll get a chance to upload another video this week and put another video. I hope so. I'm not doing any video work tonight. I'm not editing videos tonight. It's not going to happen. I'll see you guys later.